There are a few, when I went back to do some off-screen exploration for the other stems, I did come across a couple of optional bosses. And I fought them and beat them. And one of them was the, I'm not going to be able to remember the name, so it doesn't really matter what they called. But it was a couple of them that were like guarding a chest where I can expand my stem supply. So I had to beat them in order to get it. And so I did that. So it was kind of cool to get a little experience. I got one more skill, which was something one more skill point, I should say, which I really didn't need anywhere. So I just put it on my my one-handed, my single saber attack skill. So, really doesn't matter. I don't think it makes any difference for my setup, considering I'm using dual wield. Excuse me, I'm sorry, I just ate dual wield sabers and the saber staff. So, yeah. But the fact I now have 10 stems it's a relief. I feel relieved that I have a little bit extra insurance now. But that doesn't mean, that does not, like I said, guarantee me a win. It does not guarantee me at all, because there could be easily stun lock animations or whatever that could get me killed just as easily. So hopefully it'll help. Also, hi Gaming Master, welcome in. Happy Tuesday. So let's get this party started. And let's go. All right. I'm doing all right. I'm doing okay. Oh, I'm walking into a wall while trying to adjust my microphone. We're fixing to do what I think might be the final boss of the game, but of course I've said that once already and it wasn't. But this has certainly been the toughest fight so far of this game. I'm probably going to need a few extra attempts because I've been away from the game for 24 hours. Jesus. Now he's going to grab her.
I will strike from the shadows.
Ah, that one got me. What? Wow, okay. Yep. It's been 24 hours since I played this game, so I'm already out of practice. Ooh, I dodged that. Nice. What the? I pushed block. Why do they come out of block? Shit. Oh wow, I dodged that again? I swear I thought I got hit. I did, Kingdom. What is going on? Why am I not getting my parries? There's no way I'm missing those. Okay, now we do the C. Now we're to phase 2. You renew your PlayStation subscription? Nice. Nice. I think I have mine done in like January, so I should be good for another nearly a year. All right, phase 2. I still have 8 doohickeys. Damn it.
Another sim.
A pushback.
Bleed out. BB, I need help. Run, monkey.
Okay, I dodged that, but okay, game. You don't want to say that I didn't, that's fine too. I didn't mean to change saber stances.
What you got, Kestis? Stay away from Nada.
Hit you a bunch while your saber's out in your hand. Damn it. It's all right. May take me a few times to get back into rhythm because last time I fought him was Sunday night. I'd be surprised if I get to the third phase within like 2 or 3 tries.
Distract him! I will strike from the shadows.
How you survived? I'm hit.
All right, second phase.
What you got, Kestis?
No, I'm on Jedi Knight difficulty, which is like normal, I guess. Plus, if this was easy, I would have had him beat a long time ago. I'm not that bad. I'm not this bad at games. All right, third phase. Actually, surprised I got the third phase this quickly. Remember, you've got different stances. I got to be aware of that. Damn it. Yeah.
Comes first.
What makes that third phase so hard is he's throwing in his red attacks. He doesn't have red attacks in the first 2 phases outside of him shooting you, which that just, you know, that's just a timed dodge. Since his counter attacks also include red attacks, that's what makes it more difficult. Like that right there.
Target. Distract him. I will strike from the shadows.
Come on.
Okay. I need to heal as soon as I land. Probably should go ahead and just grab the pickup right there. I gotta get to him though. Get to it though. Not what I wanted to do, but okay. Didn't really mean to trigger this slow move, but probably helped with the damage a little bit. Yeah, that move there, that's what I can't, that's one of his other, red moves.
Quick, help! That hurt.
I'm down to half health right now. I think he gets to phase 3 just as his health bar drains past his name. Yeah, there we go. All right, here's the hard phase, because I haven't done this one enough to really get used to his moves yet. Sure, breaking him easier. All right, here we go. Ugh! My head's stronger than yours, bitch. Come on! Yeah! Oh! Oh! Damn! I didn't even need to. I didn't even need to get all my extra stims because I think I still had 8 left.
Bode, we know what it's like to grow up alone.
Please listen to them, Papa.
All right. And when the Empire comes, will you be able to protect my little girl? I'm sorry, Kada. I tried.
No, Papa!
Stay back!
Oh Jesus! He's gonna go off. He's gonna tap into the dark side to save. Uh-oh. Your gun broke. fuck? Well, that fight's over. Damn, I really didn't. I mean, I'm glad to have won, but I feel kind of bad that I couldn't have done it with the stems that I had. I could have beat him with 5 stems. I think I still had 8 left after that fight, or 7, something like that.
How are you feeling?
Better. Thanks.
Or she didn't break a bone when Bode threw her backwards.
We should speak. I was not much older than you when I lost my family. For many years I carried this pain. I did not want to feel better.
Why?
I thought if I let go of the pain, I would be letting go of the people I loved. But I was wrong.
Yeah, his saber is the same as
And one day, I met someone who
Dakin's.
also lost
Did he
his
take
family.
Dakin's saber?
Together we found another way to survive.
Did I miss that part?
This pain is yours. It is part of you.
When my mother died, it changed Papa. And me too, I guess.
Yes. But it does not have to define you. And you must not let it consume you.
What did you just knock off, Comet? Suddenly one of the bodies jumps up. Shit, it's hot! Sorry, I'm totally ruining the moment. Eye rolls. The hell was that movement animation of Merritt? What the? Oh, it's speeding up. Okay. I thought it was a bug of some kind. I feel like he's starting to like hear the call of the dark side because he had used so much dark power to fight Bode, as well as give in to his emotions regarding Marin.
You saved my life on Braca. You let me walk my own path when I needed to. You taught me what it truly means to be a Jedi. Now you're gone. We will continue your legacy, Seer. We will build something that can outlast the Empire. I promise you that. I promise. But I'm scared. I almost lost myself. I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready for what comes next.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, Kingdom. I was on Sunday. I thought I was going to beat this quickly, and I was going to play Universe at War. I didn't expect this. I didn't expect this fight to only take 30 minutes.
Cal, guide her through the darkness.
Talking about Bode's daughter? Guide her through the darkness? I would assume that's who he means. I I'm frustrated at myself that I was that close to beating the game. And again, I did it without needing the extra stems. That I thought my first thought on Sunday night when I finished when I stopped when I ran out of time was that I didn't have enough stems to get through the fight. Because I would always be like really close to beating it. Well, I say always. There's a few times that I got, really close to beating Bode, and and I just was out of stems, and I had like that, like just little health left. I just needed a little bit more insurance, and now after getting the extra stems, I didn't even need them. I think I beat that. I think that last fight only needed 2 to 3 stems. I mean, part of it could be attributed to fatigue because I had been playing for 8 hours, going on 9 hours at that point. But fighting that one fight probably for at least an hour. So, I mean, possibly. Well, as I do, let me give my my perspective on this game. Admittedly, I'm gonna try my best to keep my thoughts on this game separate from Jedi Fallen Order, which should be relatively easier because it was 4 years ago when I played Fallen Order, and so there's probably not much that I'm going to remember. I do remember that there was only one fight in the entirety of Fallen Order that I had to peel back the difficulty like one level in order to beat it. And that was the first boss fight that we had in this game, which was the huge sister, with the spikes on her face and all that other stuff, the really muscular sister. That fight in Fallen Order was the one I was like, okay, I've got to go to an easier difficulty. And once I beat her, I went back to the regular difficulty, the original difficulty that I was on. And I probably could have done that in this game as well a couple of times, but I felt like, again, like I was saying earlier, that most of the times when I died, it was because of my own mistakes. It was a misread time. It was a misread tell of the enemy's movements. Didn't dodge fully enough out of the way of a red attack. I just missed a parry timing, things that are completely within my control to have prevented. And I just, to put it simply, I fucked up. It's not like some other games, like say my issues that I had with some of the stuff in Sonic Adventure and Sonic Adventure 2, where there were parts that were just like, this is just bad controls. There's bad issues here. There's just like a bullshit thing happening that I can't avoid. Those kind of things are what frustrate me more than anything else. I don't mind fighting a boss 50, 60, 70 times. I'd rather not, but I don't mind fighting him if every time I died was because of my own mistake, because of, like I mentioned, misread tell, missed time to dodge, sometimes I would even get I get a little too greedy with my attacks and leave myself open to a counterattack that would kill me. There were a few times that I felt the game was unfair, but looking back on some of those moments, it was obviously just a bad roll on my own part, a bad read, whatever. Like I said before, my own mistakes. That said, I have some legitimate criticisms about this game. I don't really want to say I have like, I'm just going to talk about them. They're not necessarily any kind of particular order, like order of importance or order of like which ones annoyed me more or whatever. I'm just going to throw out my complaints. And the first one I want to discuss is the level design, the world design. There were so many times I was wasting my time looking around for a place to go, not figuring out what I needed to do, couldn't see what I had to do, thought I saw a path and I took it and it didn't go where I wanted it to go, or looked like I found the path that I needed to go and it was just a dead end or an optional path. And that's not good design. That's not good level design. That's not good world design. And that's extremely aggravating to me. I felt like they had changed their format of the level design of the worlds in this game compared to Fallen Order. Again, it's been 4 years, so I may have forgotten, but I don't remember struggling with getting around in Fallen Order to the same extent as I did in this game. Yeah, there was still the, jumping and making and having to parkour over things and wall walk and whatnot in Fallen Order, but I felt like there was more of it here, and many times it was hard to find, hard to do. Like the designs of their worlds was less linear, which is not always a good thing. It's not always, I'm not saying that linear isn't a good thing, nor is it really a bad thing if it's designed good. But I feel like their attempt to be less linear in the pathing of the worlds in this game led to a lot of problems for me. And again, that may be all on me, but there was a lot of shit that was just like, that's where I needed to go? it was really more annoying than anything when I was trying to get to an objective location and I found a path that I thought was the path I needed to take, and I end up going into a hidden area that was just a reward for a side quest or like a chest for exploration, that kind of thing, or went into one of those big boxes that took you down into one of those puzzles where you had to use the floaty balls and whatnot, and the cobalt material to, make all the flaming paths and all that. That annoys me. If I was looking for those things, then it wouldn't bother me. But in this game, I really wanted to just stick to the main story. And when I found the side stuff where I thought was the main story, it really aggravated me. Also, I don't care too much for the rewards in those chests being just cosmetics. I would have liked for them to have given me like some semblance of gear or accessories or something that actually improved my character. Sort of like, to compare it to other Soulsborne games, you find a chest, you open it up, and you get a sword out of it, okay? Well, this sword is like 2 points better than my current sword. Okay, let's use it, something like that. Put those kind of things, maybe not specifically swords, it doesn't really matter what it is, but put something in there that is actually useful for the gameplay, not just a cosmetic collectible. That really draws me away from wanting to go look for those boxes, because there was nothing in there except cosmetics, whether it was color cosmetics, whether it was just a change on your lightsaber or your blaster's appearance, all purely cosmetic, nothing that actually improved the gameplay in any way. I don't even think you got perks out of those boxes. The only time you got perks was when you meditated at one of those little like blue, like light up statue kind of things that gave you either extra health or extra force or extra experience, or sometimes it would give you a perk. Those are really the only times you actually got anything useful out of exploring. And I felt that was a missed opportunity. The combat was mostly good. Like I would even go as far as say 95% good. I enjoyed a vast majority of the combat. To step back a second to the exploration of the worlds, what bothered me about a lot of the exploration unfortunately brought me back to a few little sort of negative flashbacks to Doom Eternal. To kind of give you some perspective, I loved Doom 2016, every bit of it. Gunplay, gameplay, the environments, the exploration, what little exploration there was, exploration and so forth, all of it was super, super good. And I was super excited for Doom Eternal. After playing it, I was extremely disappointed because while the gunplay and stuff was really, really good, they put a whole bunch of bullshit puzzles in it where you had to like jump and then dash and then grab a wall and then climb the wall and then jump again and then dash and hit an upgrade that gave you another boost so you could dash again and then climb the wall and then jump twice and then dash. And that kind of platforming puzzling or puzzle platforming, I hate it. I hate it with a passion. I absolutely despise it. And the fact that they put it in this game when I'm fairly certain it wasn't in Fallen Order really brings down this game a lot for me. It really brings down this game a lot for me because there was a lot of times that I was trying to get from point A to point B or across a chasm or to, where I thought was where I needed to go. And again, I had to do this run on the wall, then jump, dash, grab onto the floaty thing that lets you jump off a certain direction, and then jump off, grab the wall, do another wall run, and then grab onto a thing, climb up the thing, jump off the thing, grab the thing that shoots you off again. And, puzzle platforming, that's not fun. That's not fun. If some people enjoy that, fine. This is just my opinion. Puzzle platforming is not fun in games where it's not originally there or not really meant to be that. You know, this is essentially a Dark Souls clone, just with a Star Wars skin on it. And putting puzzle platforming in a Soulsborne is not good. It's not. Just like putting puzzle platforming in a wild-ass, rambunctious first-person shooter like Doom, as they did in Doom Eternal, wasn't good. It wasn't good. It wasn't fun. So now that I've got that part out of the way, let's get me back to the other thing. The battle systems, the combat of this game was very, very fun. There were times where I had, there were like, I think I called them the Doom rooms. You guys eventually see the YouTube videos when they come out. I capture those episodes, the Doom rooms, like Doom Room Take 1, Take 2, and Take 3, where there was like this room of X number of enemies, and I just couldn't get through the room. I kept dying for one reason or another. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's not really much different than any other Soulsborne type game. The difference being, instead of fighting a boss and struggling 50 times to beat the one boss, you're going through a room of half a dozen or more enemies and trying to beat all them. And you have to do that 50 times, you know. It's annoying to have to go back and do that part over and over again, especially if you happen to clear out, like, say there's a room of 6 enemies and you clear out 5 of them and the 6th one is the one that kills you every time. You know, that gets a little annoying, but you know, that still is not big of an annoyance. That's just a thing that happens, and I'm okay with that. It was fun enough. It was very satisfying once I finally did get past those fights. What aggravates me is a specific system that is included in Fallen Order, as well as this game, and at least one other one that I can think of, and that is Ghost of Tsushima, and that is the unblockable attacks. I hate attacks that are completely unblockable in every way in a game where blocking or parrying is crucial. And this is one of those games. A number of the boss fights and some of the even, random enemies that you fight that are very tough, you have to rely on parrying them in order to stagger them and then be able to deal your additional damage, right? Well, a majority of those enemies, when they were using their, what I call their red attacks, where they glowed red, which is their unblockable attacks, those attacks were very much a similar animation to their non-glowing red attacks. So it was hard to really tell when a good time to defend was. You couldn't really anticipate a block or anticipate to parry, because if you anticipated because you saw the same movement and then you suddenly started glowing red, you couldn't come out of the block stance and then dodge in time. And that's not good. That's not good. Britt Baron was Gab. So Tifa was voiced in this game. Tifa was in this game. The voice actor, Britt Baron, she plays Tifa in Remake Rebirth. That's who Gabs was. She was she was the girl that died at the very beginning of the game. One of the members of the squad that was with Cal on Coruscant. So that's kind of cool. Steve Blum was in there too. Cool. Yuri Lowenthal, he's in everything, man. Liam O'Brien, Michael Gu, Matt Mercer, of course. Okay, anyway, sorry. I love seeing the voice actors and recognizing the names. Unblockable attacks that are especially very similar to standard attacks is extremely, extremely annoying. Extremely. It's better to just not be there. Better it just not be there. There's no reason to have a block ability to give you a crucial system such as blocking and parrying, and then give the enemy's attacks that go right through it. It's like, what's the point? Like, why even bother having it? I don't remember if I actually talked about this in Rebirth, but I have the similar complaint in 7 Rebirth as well as Remake, is there are some unblockable attacks in those games, and you can tell because the name of the attack will have a little exclamation point next to it when they're casting the attack. And in Remake and Rebirth, it's okay because some of them are okay when they're not always happening. Like every move they make doesn't, if they, let me say it like this. Some enemies in Remake and Rebirth, mostly Remake, not every move was unblockable. Some moves were unblockable, some weren't. Later on in the game, I noticed that more and more enemies had unblockable attacks, especially in Rebirth, especially Sephiroth. Most of his attacks all had that exclamation point in front of it. Like, what's the point of giving you blocking stances, counterattack skills, and whatnot, and parry skills, if a vast majority of the enemy's attacks are going to be unblockable? You can't use a block, a parry, or a counter, something like that. And the same is true in this game. Why, especially this, I would say even this game is more reliant on blocks and parries than Remake and Rebirth, because when you block and parry in this game, it actually reduces a bar that staggers them eventually and allows you to counterattack without any type of an attack directly to their health bar, as opposed to attacking them and still just draining their stagger bar at first. Once you get them staggered, you can go all out on their health bar. But then they have red glowing attacks that you can't block, you can't parry. You just gotta eat it, and it's extremely aggravating. Extremely aggravating. Did that not come up again? Did the waifu redeem not work again? I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know why that's not popping up anymore. Maybe I gotta check to see if the path names have changed or something. Anyway. So yeah, it's extremely an annoying, extremely irritating system to put unblockable attacks in games. It's just don't do it. Don't do it. It's not good. It's not good. And when you compare this game to other Soulsborne games, granted, my only experience outside of Fallen Order in this game is Elden Ring. I don't recall there being enemies that have unblockable attacks in the manner that I'm discussing, like where they glow red or something like that. There probably are unblockable attacks or attacks that are extremely difficult to block, but it's less of a critical point to block in that game. Elden Ring is more dodge centric than block centric, in my opinion. Whereas this game, you really have to do more blocking and parrying, because if you're just dodging all the time, you're not going to be able to do you're not going to be able to break them and stagger them and be able to deliver damage. That was my original problem when I took on Darth Vader. When I first fought Darth Vader, I was just trying to avoid all of his attacks. I see your redemption there, Kingdom. We'll do that as soon as we get through with the credits of this game. You just might have to remind me. So if I forget, feel free to remind me. That was my problem with the Boba Fett. What was Boba Fett in this game? That was my problem with... Fuck, my mind went blank. God damn it. What was I talking about? Oh, it was my problem with fighting Darth Vader, right? My problem with fighting Darth Vader was I would go up there, hit him a few times, and then run away. Hit him a few times, dash away. And that wasn't effective. That wasn't going to work because his stagger bar restored too quickly. So even if I did get a couple of hits in and lowered his stagger bar a little bit, if I dodged away, by the time I got close to do it again, it would refill back up. So you couldn't really rely on dodging in this game, especially against very hard enemies or bosses, because you had to break them and make them stagger. You had to stagger them. You had to. You really didn't have any other option. So when you force your player to go into a blocking and parrying stance, and then you give your enemies the ability to just walk right through that defense, it doesn't make it fun. It makes it extremely annoying. Especially if you can also be staggered just as easily. You stand there and block and parry too long, and you become staggered as well and vulnerable to extra damage. So, either remove the red glow or don't give us a limited parry and block bar. Don't do both. Or don't have both in there. Either take away the red glow so we can get staggered if we block for too long, or give them the red glow, but let us have infinite guard. We can guard as long as we want, but if they glow red, it goes through our guard, fine, we have to unguard and dodge. There's no reason to have both in there. There's no reason to have both in there other than to just be annoying and irritating, and it's not good. Irritating and annoying is not fun. The overall story of the game, I don't think was too bad. I did like how we sort of started to see Cal kind of falling to the dark side a little bit. We actually gained an ability that was literally called Embrace the Darkness, and we got the special slowdown that delivered a shit ton of damage whenever you hit enemies. That was really, really awesome. I noticed something while I was editing my videos for YouTube on Monday. I picked up something that I noticed something during my editing that I didn't pick up on in the moment, but I seeing it in retrospect, it was actually pretty obvious. Bode was adamant, encouraging Cal to step outside of the Jedi Order's rules and step into his feelings for Merrin. As you know, by Jedi Order rule and whatnot, attachment is forbidden. Hence why that could, because attachment could lead to loss of attachment, could lead you down the path of the dark side, right? Well, Cal, being the Jedi that he is, the good Jedi that he is, was following that path, right? And then Bode is telling him, the Jedi Order, it doesn't exist anymore, and you can't really ignore your feelings entirely. You've got to, you tell Merrin has strong feelings for you, you need to acknowledge your feelings for her as well. And, I didn't realize at the time, but looking back now, I see that was a clue, albeit rather subtle, obviously, that Bode was more dark side-ish because he was telling Cal to be more emotional, which is the whole thing about dark side. Controlling your emotions is what keeps you from going to the dark side. So seeing that little thing there was like, oh shit, the writing was on the wall early on that Bode was trying to help Cal essentially sort of fall to the dark side, at least a little bit, by ignoring the Jedi Order's rules and giving into his feelings for Merrin. And then after he kissed her, and you saw them start to connect and whatnot, and the dark side stuff starts coming in. He starts getting a little more aggressive toward trying to capture Bode and whatnot, and it just it's just like, wow, that was, the writing was, like I said, all over the wall. All the different combat styles was good. That was fun. That was certainly fun. I think you had the three different combat, well, actually 4 different combat styles. You had the standard single saber, which you started with. You had the dual wield, so one in each hand. You had the saber staff, that's what I call it, basically Darth Maul's weapon. And then they added a saber and blaster. And for me, the saber blaster combination was extremely fun. It was very fun. And I like how they managed to mix it up enough to kind of still not just give you a gun and say, okay, now you're just going to be shooting everything. No, you eventually had to recharge your blaster by using your saber attack. So they forced you to not just rely on the randomness of, as Obi-Wan would say, the randomness of a blaster. uncivilized randomness. How did he put it? That's clumsy or random and uncivilized as a blaster, right? So seeing that was kind of cool, and taking advantage of it was very good, especially like the whole like Red Dead Redemption sort of like slow down the game, lock onto these enemies and suddenly pew 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 pew. That was really cool too. But they still forced you to use your saber in order to recharge your gun so you could use it more. Very, very fun, and obviously very useful against targets like the softer stormtroopers. It helps like ease up, it helps soften up those, I think it was called the BX droids or the DX droids that I fought in that hangar that kept kicking my ass over and over again. Another one of the Doom rooms, basically. So that was really fun. But then you got to a point where you had to go back to just pure saber styles at the Bode fight. Or actually, it might have been before the Bode fight. Might have been was it the Dagon fight? Might have been the Dagon fight that I respect and put all my points into saber staff and dual blades, because that fight was nuts. And it was another 3-phase fight. And speaking of 3-phase fights, I kind of want to compliment, but also want to complain about that 3-phase fight kind of thing. The credits, so it is. They do the credits for like the English, and they do the credits for each of the different localizations. So I've seen French up there. I think I saw Spanish. So they do last for a bit. The credits themselves are not really that long, but when you include every single localization version they got to do, it's like, oh fuck. But the fuck. Honestly, I don't have ADD. I can't prove that right now. What was I talking about? Fuck. The saber, the phase fights. I kind of like the 3-phase. 2 phases is fine, but the 3-phase fights I kind of like and I kind of dislike. Partly because it goes back to that whole thing of once I get past a certain point, I don't want to go back and start again. This is just a me thing. It's not necessarily a shot at this game or anything like that. It's just kind of a thing that I prefer. And what I'm referring to is like lives in video games. Games where you have limited lives, mostly it's like the older school arcade games, right? Or old school platformers like Spyro and Crash Bandicoot, things like that. Having limited amount of lives, once you run out of lives and screw up enough and die, because especially in platformers, I'm going to do that a lot, you have to go back to the beginning of the level and do all that again to get back to where you were. And if you were near the end of the game or to the end of the level, when you kept falling and dying and then you run out of lives, you get a game over, you got to start over again. Or if you just start that level over again, you still got to go back to the very beginning of that level. And that is extremely annoying for me. I hate that system more than anything. That's why whenever I do play an older game that does have lives in it, I either use save states to get around that or cheat codes that give me infinite lives. I don't mind. I mean, again, I'd rather not. I don't mind dying 50 times in a level. Sucks, but I'd rather, I'd rather deal with 50 deaths than I'm only allowed 5 deaths, and then I got to start over again. Hate that. Hate it. And that goes to this game and any game that has multi-phase fights that you can't, I don't want to say skip, but you can't get to the second phase or get to the third phase. The fights with Bode, the fights with the last fight with Dagon were all 3-phase fights. And when you get through the first phase, and then you struggle in the second phase, and you barely get to the third phase and then die, you got to go back and do the first phase again. I hate that so much. I get the point of it. It's the challenge of having to basically do a boss gauntlet in this game, that you don't really have boss gauntlets in Soulsborne games of this style. You don't really have a boss gauntlet per se. But having multi-phase fights like that with the systems that this game has, and then getting to the third phase with half health and no more heals, I can't. It bugs me so much. It bugs me so much, especially when, like in that Bode fight, I would get to the third phase and I didn't have enough health to take time or be able to take time to learn that phase. I can learn the first and second phases, and when I get to the third phase, I'm so low on health, 2 mistakes and I'm dead. So I haven't had time to learn what he does, learn his moves, learn his stuff, because every time I get there, I'm dead too quickly to actually see any patterns. That gets on my nerves. That aggravates me, because once I get, because if I'm struggling that much in these fights and I get through phase 1, I'm struggling to get through phase 2 again, but I get really close, I get really close, I get really close. By the time I finally get back around to where I do get to the third phase, I've already forgotten what little I might have learned from the last time I was in phase 3, like 10 fights ago, and I'm back to 0 again. And it's not fun to do very much. And I also don't like having to stream that, because that's got to be annoying for you guys as the viewers to watch me get through 1 or 2 phases, die on the third phase, they have to go back through phase 1 and 2 again so many times, where instead I can just go right into the third phase. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys enjoy watching the first 2 phases of those kind of fights or those kind of things happening. But I don't as a player. I don't as a player. If I was just recording this and wasn't streaming this, so you guys didn't have to see it live, excuse me, when I would do something like that, I would cut most of the fights that I had to do the first 2 phases on and just go straight to the video, or just straight to the parts where I was doing the third phase. But since we're doing it live, damn it, we're doing it live. Since we're doing it live, I don't have that luxury. But, that's just my perspective on that. So I know I've probably missed quite a bit because I didn't do any side quests or didn't do much exploration outside of what I did yesterday off stream to get the stims that I didn't need for the final boss fight. But this is not one of my best games of the year. I'll think about it I won't think about it all the way through the year, but by the time that I get around to doing my own personal games of the year list, I can say for like 95% certain that this game will not make any top list at all. It will not. I did not enjoy it enough. There weren't the problems that I encountered that I talked about a minute ago. They were a huge minus, a huge detraction from the game. So I'm glad to be done with this game. I didn't hate it. Don't get me wrong. This isn't Parasite Eve 2. I didn't hate this game, but I didn't fully enjoy it. I was fine with it. Again, the combat was fun. That was probably the only thing that held up was the combat. It was the struggling. It was my struggling of the environment and exploration that was really the hugest, biggest drawbacks. What isn't a drawback, however, is Annie Shark coming in with a 5-person raid. Thank you, Shark. Thank you, Annie. I don't know why I called you Shark. Thank you, Annie, for the raid. Welcome in. Wait, did I say party of 6 or party of 5? Either way, Annie's here with her Sharkies. Welcome aboard the Starship Dragon. I am Commander Krim. We're at the end, as you can see by the credits that are happening right over there. You just joined with the credits, yeah. You're here just in time for the end of the credits, actually. We should be reaching the end of here pretty soon. Even though this looks like an EULA here. I was just talking about my mostly complaints about this game, but welcome aboard the Starship Dragon. My name is Commander Krim, and I will give you and your raiders a proper proper introduction to the stream once the credits end here, because I want to make sure I don't miss any good like post-credit scenes if there's anything here. And I'm hoping at some point these credits will freaking end. Oh my God. How was Saints Row, Annie? I mean, obviously, I popped in to watch you play a little bit of it. I had Saints Row 1 and 2 for a while, but the first Saints Row, I've never actually played them. The first Saints Row that I played was Saints Row 3, and oh my God, it's so fun. I know I do, Kingdom. I will do that. I will do that. I will give you your lesson after I welcome in the Raiders with, oh my God, seriously? How much shit is on this list? Good God. You know what? It's a short one. Let's do this real quick. Let's just see. Or watch me load up the professor's message and the fucking credits will end. Which one did you have? You had 17, right? Yeah, you got 17.
Yeah, I guess it is. Still got a lot of work ahead of us.
Like as soon as I hit 17, the credits ended. Luckily, we didn't miss anything.
I mean, the place is creepy, but it does have franchise potential.
This belongs with you.
It belongs with all of us. What do you think, kid? Should we give it a shot?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Ah, that's the spirit. Oh, that's great. Come on, I'll bet you're hungry. I'll make you something to eat. Did you ever have a scaz stick?
You've reached the end of your journey. However, the galaxy can be freely explored, and there may yet be secrets left to discover. New Journey Plus is now available from the main menu. As if. All stances and cosmetics from previous games will be unlocked, along with some new perks and lightsaber colors. Any skill points will also carry over to your new game. Purity grants a massive increase in weapon damage for both friends and foes. Warrior replaces standard enemies with new, more difficult combat encounters. Trendsetter randomizes your cosmetics on death. Sorry. So yeah, I finished that last fight. You can look over there in the other corner. I finished that last fight with still a quarter of my health and 7 stems. 7 stems. I had 5 going into the fight, and I couldn't beat the boss with 5 stems. Means I only used 3. I only used 3 stems that whole fight. Oh well. Anyway, let me properly welcome Annie's folks into the stream, into the